why does it feel to me that the industry, specifically in this case, yourself and many other freelancers, many other translators, to me, we come across that we care a lot more about quality than the customer does. And I don't know if it's perception on my side, or maybe we went through a trend where before the customer cared about quality, and now because they have a lot of benefit coming out of mainly cost savings, coming out of AI, they're ignoring that quality delta, if you will, the difference between quality. And then people will come in and say, well, AI makes mistakes. Well, therefore, also people make mistakes too. So, I mean, there's both sides to the argument, but to me, it feels like every time I talk to a translator, every time I talk to a language service provider or a company that in the business, in the industry, I do get the feeling that we do care a lot more about language quality than the actual consumer. And that gap in the care, in the care for language quality, I don't know if it's healthy, to be honest with you. I mean, it's business wise. Like if you were an owner of a business and you're saying, "Hey, you asked me for a Hyundai, I'm going to give you a Cadillac." So the difference in I hate to use
Hmm.
automobile analogy, but that's for the audience, I guess that
That's a good
makes
one.
a
Yeah.
good reference. So if I'm giving somebody a Cadillac, meanwhile they ask for a Hyundai. So guess who's paying for that difference in quality? You.
Yes, but in terms of quality, I think we need to define what quality is, actually,
Well, I mean that's
because
been a discussion for 30 years. No one
I
has been able to put it together yet.
I know, but now we need to do something about it, really, because there's like light post editing and full post editing and whatever. But the Hyundai is a good car still. It's not a Cadillac because it's not the same price and
Well,
it's
in
got
some
different
cases, the
features.
Cadillac is worse than the Hyundai. It depends on which Cadillac
Who
you're
knows?
driving.
But the thing is, I mean, you can get a light post editing job done by somebody who can pinpoint, the bad mistakes that nobody wants in their texts, and it would be okay. But the thing is that light post editing, they're going to ask anybody to just, run antidote, and they won't even do the bilingual check. So if there's a major mistake, that could have big consequences. It's not a question of quality, like, writing like Baudelaire or I don't know what, but it's just making sure that we are precise. And
Well,
that
the thing is, and I don't know if you agree with that, is that for light post editing and full post editing, there's like a big dilemma going on there, right? I could put myself in the translator's shoes, and it doesn't matter the language combination for our language audience. That's not specific to English to French Canada. This can be any language combination in the world, for that matter. If I put myself in the translator's shoes and I say, okay, Mr. Customer, you want me to do the light post editing round on this particular piece of content? Of course. So how can consciously, as a translator, do a light post editing and you come across something that needs to be corrected and you say, okay, I'm not doing that because I'm only doing light post editing. You're not going to be able to say, I want to correct everything in there, because then becomes a full post editing, which the customer didn't ask for. And you get
I
into
know.
that, where do I draw the line between the light and I still don't know the definition, to be honest with you. So many
I
times
know
people explained it to me, I still don't understand it.
there's an ISO standard for that, for post editing. I
Oh,
haven't
here
read
you
it
go. That's
yet,
another one.
but
We
yeah,
go and put an ISO standard for
yeah,
post editing. Excellent.
absolutely, with the levels and everything. I haven't read it yet, but it's a big document, so I guess I'll read it soon. But I think that the translator, being especially certified translator, we have like a ethics code and everything. I think that it's up to us to determine what we're going to change. But of course, that's where my position on teaching is we need to teach new translators how to deal with that, how to make the decision on what to keep and what not to keep, what to change and what not to change, what's a major mistake and what's acceptable. And I think that the client needs to know also that in light post editing, yes, we're going to correct grammar mistakes and whatever, but if there's a major mistake, they're going to have to pay for the time to correct it, because it's their problem after in the end. They have to understand that there's some kind of danger. Well, at one point. And that's why I think we should, change the market is changing. We need to change the per word rate. That doesn't work anymore, I don't think. And there's a lot that needs to change. And I think teaching new translators, that's another part. So we need to work on not just translating a sentence, but understanding what needs to be kept and what needs to be corrected and make use your judgment.